Hello, everyone. I wanted to talk about The Mandalorian Season 2, Disney, and a couple other things. I want to first inform you that I was actually a tester for several Star Wars titles, video games, obviously. When it comes to Star Wars lore, I do know it a little bit better than some people, only because I had to when I was doing all my beta testing. Okay, with that out of the way, I can say that The Mandalorian has done really well as far as Star Wars titles. It hasn't been as rocky as some of the other movies or TV shows from the Star Wars universe. There's been examples throughout the course of all the new movies and TV shows where it really felt like Disney was just, well, Disney or whoever was just trying to add stuff in for the sake of it. For example, Poe Dameron. Because Poe Dameron was added in so late that they actually had to make an entire book just to explain his background, which is really dumb, but whatever. So, I do appreciate how well The Mandalorian has done in not only showing storyline, but also, just handling the TV show really well overall. I think season 2 is going to just continue with that. With that said, though, I do need to talk about some things here related to this. Okay, I just typed in Star Wars and Disney, and here's my search results. I'll let you all see that for yourselves. Now, what I'm looking for here is the Star Wars database, which has its own URL. It's this, starwars.com databank. So you can see that I had to scroll down pretty far to find it. It wasn't even at the top of the search results. You actually have to type Star Wars database for this to pop up, because you see it's starwars.com/databank, but it's not, this. Because see, like, this is Disney Plus Originals.disney.com. So finding this is actually a pain in the butt. And to make matters even more complicated, you'll notice that in order to find certain things in here, like let's just say the dark saber from season 1, right? You're going to have to click on weapons and tech, and then you have to scroll all the way down to here. You have to hit show more, then scroll down to dark saber. So this is kind of a mess right here. But another problem is, not only is it a mess, there's very little description of it. You can see right here, it's really just like 2 sentences worth of description. It tells you where it's appeared and affiliations. Great, okay, but this is not a detailed enough description for most people to catch on. Because let's just say that, somebody comes into the Mandalorian and then sees stuff like this, they're not going to know what it is, more than likely. I can tell you that most people learn from movies rather than the books or comics. So, whenever you plan for a movie, a TV show, or even a video game, you have to ensure that it's based on what people know. Because otherwise, you're going to lose people, or they're not going to enjoy the same Easter eggs as other people, right? Here's an example. I know we're going to deviate just a little bit, but I think this is a really good example. Okay, so Marvel's Avengers, the video game, got a ton of negative reviews and some backlash. I think the one thing that we can focus on out of all the negativity is that comment of the Avengers look bland. It's sort of true because I mean, from a video game perspective, they don't look any different than some of the characters you could create in other games. There's nothing really unique to them. But I think the real reason is because whenever people see the Avengers, they're seeing the characters from the movie. So, like, for Black Widow, they think Scarlett Johansson. Unless you have Scarlett Johansson as the face of a Marvel Avenger in a video game, I mean, people are just going to probably look at it differently. The same applies to The Mandalorian. You can't expect people to be excited for something until they actually know what it is. So that's just something to think about. I will point out one last thing, though, in relation to Star Wars, something that I learned as a beta tester for Star Wars titles. For a long time, Star Wars games and even, well, movies really didn't have as many filters as they did uh, after Disney took over. In one of the video games, I'm not going to say which one because, again, I'm not going to risk NDA, but in one of the video games, there was a picture of a bounty hunter with severed heads all around him. When Disney took over, they asked us to remove that. I'm like, really, Disney? That's Star Wars universe for you. I mean, there's even like gorier universes out there. I mean, Star Wars is pretty tame in comparison to someone's icon list. Now, the bounty hunter situation is not the only time that Disney has come in and asked for things to be removed, changed, or altered. If you just take a look at the Star Wars universe pre-Disney, you'll see it's a lot different. Disney really came in and just flipped things over or made things even worse because one of the things that I had to deal with as a beta tester was I had to incorporate the Star Wars universe and or its lore into the games. That was already difficult enough as is, because you have canon, you have extended universe, and so on and so forth. So it's really hard to determine where the line is. Like, what can you use in a video game? What can you use in a movie? And for that matter, what's authentic out of all these different sections of the universe? Then Disney came along and made that line even more blurred because of their desire to change things or make things more family friendly, whatever it is that Disney does. So, at the end of the day, Disney is the biggest problem. I think that had Disney just left things alone, probably things would have been a lot better, not just for Star Wars, but Avengers as well. The Avengers universe is actually even more dark than Disney is, so you're not going to see that until Disney actually stops being a gigantic blocker. But I think that's all I can really say on this. I do recommend that you do your own reading on this. But thanks for listening.